Do you like ramping out of control? Do you like generating heaps of mana? Do you like generating so much mana that you would kill yourself if mana burn was still a mechanic? Okay, well, probably not, but let's talk about two of the most busted ways to generate heaps of mana. Mana Reflection and Nyxbloom Ancient are the only two Magic cards to date with a true replacement effect for mana tripling or doubling. Sometimes players say that Mirari's Wake, Mana Flare, or Heartbeat of Spring doubles your mana, but those are triggered abilities that add one more mana, not a replacement effect that doubles your mana. Effectively, what this means is if you have a Heartbeat of Spring and a Vernal Bloom, your forest will tap for 3 green mana. With Mana Reflection, it replaces the effect of the land tapping for mana to tapping for double mana. This does not work the way you want it to with these other doubling effects. Add Mana Reflection to our board with Heartbeat of Spring and Vernal Bloom. Each forest now taps for 4 green mana, 2 from the doubling effect of Mana Reflection, then 2 more from each trigger from the Heartbeat of Spring and the Vernal Bloom. So replacement effects can stack and be multiplicative, which means if you have a Mana Reflection and a Nyxbloom Ancient on the field, a forest could theoretically tap for 2 times, then 3 times, or 2 times 6 green mana. The triggered effect also stacks, but instead are additive, which is why having a Heartbeat of Spring and Vernal Bloom only adds 3 green. Mana Reflection is insane with anything that already taps for more than 1. Thran Dynamo and Soul Ring, among many others, now tap for 6 or 4 mana respectively. It is a tremendous powerhouse of a card at 6 mana, and commands a secondary market price that's very high, mostly because of its power and rarity. There were mixed feelings on Nyxbloom Ancient when it was released earlier this year. A lot of the immediate comments were, win more. Why is this a card? And, well, overhyped, dies to removal. There were also some people, like Saffron Olive with MTG Goldfish, who saw the power of the card, but wondered how long it would last without a banning. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I love big mana decks, I love green, and so seeing Nyxbloom Ancient just got me really excited to play green. I love green. Green is one of my favorite colors to play. When I saw this card, I knew that I was going to play it a lot. I was really concerned with the usual consensus, it was a trap, dies to removal, overkill, or my personal favorite, there are better things to do with 7 mana. I completely disagree with that. The hype for this card is real. Mana Reflection already saw play, and is incredibly powerful. Nyxbloom Ancient is also an enchantment, which means anything you did to save or make Mana Reflection better applies to Nyxbloom Ancient as well, such as Sterling Grove or Greater Auramancy, as well as Copy Enchantment. But sticking it on a creature, which was quickly seen as a powerhouse with Rite of Replication, brings Nyxbloom Ancient as the most powerful form of the replacement multiplicative mana effect. That's a mouthful, and it does it even better than the others because it triples your mana rather than doubles. As a creature, Nyxbloom Ancient is open to all sorts of removal, board wipes, exile effects, and more. As an enchantment, it can receive a similar harsh treatment. If you don't protect it, it won't survive a round after it hits the field. I feel like a lot of the comments are people assuming that they'll tap out for 7, slam their Nyxbloom Ancient, and wait a turn. No, it paints a huge target on your head. People hate the card. As the year progressed, feelings changed from mediocre trap at best to please ban this card. There's a reason why it has gained this rapport, and it's only in part because of its effect. In reality, it's because it's a creature. Green is an amazing color, especially lately in Magic with insane card advantage, powerful effects on beefy boys, crazy mana advantage, and ramp and enough removal, although usually restrictive removal for removing creatures, to bust a hole open and punch in some serious damage. Let's get real. Combine green with any color and you get to play that color on steroids. Playing green-red, you get haste effects, big beaters from green, big beaters from red, such as dragons, and huge X damage spells that you can take advantage of because you have the ramp to make the X huge. Green-blue, you get access to counter spells, insanely powerful commanders, I'm looking at you Kinnan and Thrasios, and massive card advantage. Green-white, tokens are really powerful things, and white usually has a problem casting huge X spells. Again, green gives you that ramp to cast those big spells. And you get access to all sorts of life gain, better removal, more efficient creatures. Green-black? Well, green covers black's weakness of not being able to deal with enchantments or artifacts, and turns up the graveyard recursion to 11, as well as assists in dredge and land decks. So green as a secondary color or as a primary color is, well, great. You know what green is really good at? Tutoring creatures. It is terrible at tutoring everything else. You can't tutor mana reflections very well in mono green, but you sure can tutor Nyxbloom Ancient. In fact, you can cheat him into play from your deck with Natural Order, Defense of the Heart, Tooth and Nail, Eldritch Evolution, just to name a few off the top of my head. Although, if you're playing Defense of the Heart and or Tooth and Nail, you probably should just get the two creatures that are going to win you the game, let's be real. Then you could go on, Court of Calling, Green Sun Zenith, although those would be more expensive to cast, are particularly flexible and fantastic cards. Some of these are even mana neutral or advantageous, like Natural Order. And that's only in mono green. Adding blue makes it a valid target for Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy, as many have seen in Brawl, or Momir Vig, Simic Visionary. With black, it can be brought back continually with Marin of Clan Neltoth or Reanimate or any of the Reanimate spells. With white, you can Enlighten Tutor or Idyllic Tutor for it because it's an enchantment. Of course, you can do this with Mana Reflection, so maybe that's not a reason to say that it's better than Mana Reflections, but it's on par with Mana Reflections. Okay, last color, with red. Well, red you can gamble for Nyxbloom Ancient. You probably shouldn't. Watch my video on Gamble and learn more about that amazing card. With Mana Reflection, copying the enchantment isn't particularly easy. The two that immediately come to mind are Copy Enchantment and Clever Impersonator, which are both great cards in their own right, although Clever Impersonator is a bit more flexible and substantially better than Copy Enchantment. There's also a new one from Throne of Eldraine that can copy either an artifact or enchantment, and it doesn't have to be your own, which is a bit more flexible. For Nyxbloom Ancient, the number of copy effects increases dramatically because it's a creature. Some of my favorite from recent sets are Spark Double, Quasi-Duplicate, or less recent with Cackling Counterpart, because that's at instant speed, and Rite of Replication. With these instant speed copy effects, you now have a way to pseudo-protect your Nyxbloom from removal, as you can make another copy in response to a single target removal spell. Copy effects in general are pretty darn fun to play with, especially in Commander. And really a lot if you can copy your opponent's cards. So if you aren't playing a few, they aren't a bad thing to include. I mean, at worst, they copy something non-impactful that just gets you some value. At best, they give you something that can win you the game. People also forget, people being me specifically, that Nyxbloom has Trample. Once, I generated over 300 mana and made a Gigantoplasm, which was a copy of Nyxbloom Ancient, into a 300/300 and attacked someone joking, "Ha, but you can just block." After I declared attackers, and after they declared blockers, we were, calculating the damage, making sure everything was fine, and they pointed out, Nyxbloom has Trample. I felt bad, but not too bad because I just one-shotted someone with a huge Gigantoplasm. I think that deserves a trophy or something. So the bottom line is that Nyxbloom is superior to Mana Reflection because it's much easier to tutor, to find, copy, and interact with. Let's be real. Dies to removal is a classic thing to dismiss creatures that may be overhyped. Reality is most everything dies to removal. In Commander, where artifact and enchantment removal is usually around the same as creature removal, if not more, I don't think the argument dies to removal is a strong case against its power level. Compared with Mana Reflection, yeah, it can get hit by more removal spells, but it's a superior card, even in enchantment-based decks. But is Nyxbloom really the best 7-drop in green? No. Probably not even close if we start diving into some of the other really crazy amazing green cards. But if you aren't trying to win the game with 7 mana, or have an impactful board state, but rather just ramp, there are 2 cards that I think are worthy replacements that fit different deck building that could be better than Nyxbloom. Neither of these are creatures, and so inherently are more difficult to tutor compared to Nyxbloom, but have other benefits that may make them more suitable for your deck specifically. One is Zendikar Resurgent, which has the triggered add 1 more mana effect, but also has card draw when you cast creatures, which in a creature-heavy deck, which is likely in green, it is a great choice for that incremental card advantage. This card is an impressive powerhouse. There's a reason why it's popular in Commander, giving strong ramp and strong card advantage, with the downside being the same as Mana Reflection. It's an enchantment, theoretically does nothing when you put it down, and is relatively hard to tutor for. The other card is Boundless Realms, a sorcery that can effectively double your mana, assuming you have enough basic lands in your deck. Assuming you aren't in a meta with a ton of mass land destruction, this gets around being blown out by having your mana doublers, triggered or your replacement effects, removed by instead investing directly into your mana base. This fits better if your ramp strategy revolves more around land than creature or artifact ramp. This also allows you some flexibility for your removal, as mass creature, artifact, enchantment removal will no longer punish you or set you back with your mana. In this way, it kind of punishes greedier decks that depend more on fast mana than considering making every land drop. So, is Nyxbloom the best green ramp card? No. Is it the best 7-drop? Probably not. Are you going to be playing this in decks that you don't need more mana by the time you hit 7 or 8? Definitely not. Well, the thing is though, it is really powerful, and if we want to play Battleship Magic, this is a great card to do that. It's high impact, and it goes 0 to 60 with copy effects, and it's definitely better than Mana Reflections. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. If you disagree with me, share your grievances or shoot me a tweet. And always, always remember your ABCs. Always be casting. Till next time.